Within just a few days of carrying around a personal diary or notebook, mainly for remembering chores and schoolwork, I realized that a majority of my thoughts, future project ideas, and insights slips through the cracks in my memory because I do not have a way to record them instantly. And thus, I have always attempted to have a way to record my thoughts with me. Currently, as I'm attempting to replace my notebooks with a personal knowledge management app, as translate it into having a synced mobile version of my PKM app. So today, I want to talk about the mobile version of Anytype, my favorite note-taking app. So first, let's start off with the installation process. For this, we're going to go to Google Play Store. Then we're going to type in Anytype. Here it is. And we're going to click install. As you can see, it has started installing. I have sped up the video a little bit. It took about 50 seconds for me to complete the download and installation process. Finished installing. You can open the app right from here, or you can go back to our home page and find the app from the apps folder. As you can see, here it is. But what I like to do is just take the app and then I put it with some other note-taking apps that I had and also the calendars. This is because I use the app a lot and I like to have it easily accessible near the home screen. Now I can perform the app. So if this is the first time, then we'll hit join. And after we join, and then next, this will generate a bunch of random words, which will be our recovery phrase or our encryption key. We can see the key now or check later, which will bring us to a page that lets us get right to the app. I'm not going to copy this phrase or continue because I already have a phrase. So I'm just going to go back. And as you can see, it has cleared the resources, meaning that the key generated for me is now deleted. Now I'm going to click login. And I'm going to paste in my previous recovery phrase. Why do you find these previous recovery phrases? If you ask me that, then I have to say that go to the desktop app and inside the account settings, here you can find the recovery phrase. Now I want to start with some setup and customization of the app for Android. For that, we can go to the quick access bar at the bottom of the screen and tap on this icon. This brings us to our space settings. Now when I first got the app, the icon here did not look like this. We can tap on this icon to change it. We can use an emoji, upload a picture to be our space icon. I have obviously uploaded a picture. We can also change the name of our space. And then the next option is the profile option. If you go here, we can change our profile picture, change our profile name. And I want to highlight this. Here is our recovery phrase and also the place to delete our account and log out. So when we log out of our app, we'll be given an option to back up the phrase, which will copy that phrase to our clipboard, or you can just see the phrase and write it down and then log out. Without the recovery phrase, we cannot access our account. Okay, so the next option is the personalization option. Here we get the option to choose a default type. So in Anytype, everything is called an object and every object has a type. And this default type is for times when we are in a hurry and do not want to think about what type to assign our objects, or for times when we just have some notes to take down and not really sure where to put a particular piece of information. Then Anytype will assign this default object type, which you have chosen as note, to that object. Okay, so the next option is the appearance option. Here we can choose a new wallpaper. I'm going to choose this one. And we also can decide if the app should be in the light mode or the dark mode, or follow the system settings. Now next is the file storage. This portion here shows how much storage space in our device the Anytype app is taking up, and also how much media file, as in music, images and movies, we have uploaded in the app. Now all the files we write in our Anytype and all the media are stored in our device, but there is an option to offload our files to a backup node of Anytype to free up space in our device. And also there is a limit to how much media we can add to our Anytype to sync with Anytype's Anysync protocol. As you know, nowadays YouTube restricts clickable external links in the description. So if you wish to go to the Anysync page, then please go to the Anytype web page and you can find all the relevant information there. If you exceed the media upload limit, then there is no problem. The media will then just be stored in our devices. And if you can self-host, then you can use Anytype's code to sync the media with your preferred sync provider. Now the next option is the space debug. If you click it, a debug menu comes up and there is an option to send the debug information to the team. I have never had to use this in the mobile app. And the About page has all the relevant information about the mobile app. The next options in the quick access bar are this plus menu, which helps us create a new object, which we will be talking about in a little while. And this search button searches all the objects in our Anytype. A thing about search function of Anytype currently is that it only searches the heading of objects, but this is a limitation that Anytype team wishes to overcome very soon. Now all these buttons in the landing page are for widgets, and other than this library and bin widget, all other widgets are completely customizable. This first one is actually my dashboard widget, which has all of my frequently accessed objects and sets. When I first got the app, this looked almost exactly the same as it does now, except that there was a favorites widget here which I changed into a collection. The rest are pretty much the same. Now to customize this widget, you press this edit widget button. As you can see, there are these minus signs next to all the widgets except for library and bin, indicating that the library and bin widgets cannot be edited. You can delete one widget by this negative menu and then add by home to add. We can choose any kind of objects, sets, collections, or anything to add as a widget. I'm just going to choose sets, and then we get a choice of appearance. I'm going to remove this again and add it again to see how the list view looks like. The list view has larger icons, so the maximum number of objects that you will see on a list view is actually just 4 on the mobile. I'm going to remove this and add the format list. Alright, now done to get out of the edit menu, and here is our landing page. Now next are these recently opened and recently edited widgets. These are important if you are using the Anytype app on multiple devices. So let's say on your mobile device, you were revising some of your lecture notes. You did not make any changes to them. And then on your desktop, you looked over some of your course notes and also did not make any changes to them. So in this case, the next time you open your mobile device, the recently opened tab will show your lecture notes on top and your desktop app will show the course notes on top. But if you do make any changes to any of the objects, then the changes will sync across devices. And thus the recently edited tab shows the same object across all the devices. Now for this library and bin option. In Anytype, everything is an object. And every object has a type. And these objects can be related to each other through relations. These types and relations are stored inside this library. From here, we can search through all the types in our Anytype or create a new type altogether. We can also see that there is this library option in here. This library option has pre-installed types and relations from the Anytype team. We can use them as is if we find them useful. What I did was I started out with the pre-installed types and relations and then changed them according to my liking. But one of the things is that from the mobile app, we can only create and remove a type or relation. Things like adding templates and default relations to the type, but we cannot in the Android app at the moment. It can only be done from the desktop or Mac apps. Now the bin option is pretty self-explanatory. Here we can select one or more objects and choose to delete or restore them, or we can choose all of the deleted objects in the bin and choose to delete or restore them. Those who have the desktop app recognize that this landing page looks exactly like the sidebar in the desktop app, which seems familiar when using. Now to create a new object. For that, we go to this plus button in the quick access menu here. Click it, and here's our new object. Creating an object like this is the main way I use the Android app or mobile app of Anytype. For creating and modifying sets and collections, which are basically like databases inside Anytype, I actually use the desktop app. In order to clearly illustrate the function of an object inside the Android app of Anytype, I'm going to divide its function into 3 steps. These are not official terms, these are just terms for me to keep track of all the things I want to say. So the three categories that I divide your object into is the create menu, the text edit menu, and the object edit menu. So the create menu is what we see after we first create an object. At the top here we can see the note icon. This is the type of our object. We can remember that when we were setting up our app, in the space settings in the personalization tab, we had chosen the node as our default type. That is why Anytype has assigned this node type to our object without us doing anything. But let's say we are trying to add a journal entry and we know that the type of our object is going to be journal. For that, we can easily go to this change type option and the list of all the types comes up. We can just scroll here and choose the type we want, or you can click the search button and just search the type we want to see. For me, this Chronicles type is my journals type. Now, this Chronicle types has a few templates that I have made for it. So if I click this Chronicles type, then it gives me the option of seeing the templates and using all of the templates to create my object. If I click show, and I can just keep swiping left to see all the templates. I can choose one of the templates, or I can just skip using the template, which will apply the blank template here. There is also a choice to make one of the templates we create into the default template. So if we click skip, it will just apply the default template to it. Now if I click done, I'm just going to end up creating an object. This view that we see here is what I call object edit view. From here, we can go to the upper three dots menu and we get the option to change the icon. Give it a cover and change the layout. Here we can see that our object has the basic layout. If we change the layout to note, then we can see that it's the previous layout with just the name of the type of the object up here and the rest of the layout is empty. So this is called the notes layout, and it is different from the basic layout in that the basic layout can have an icon, a cover and title, but the note layout is just that bunch of text inside our object. Now if we click layout again, we can see that there are two more layouts. The profile layout, as you can see, also has the options for icon and cover, but this layout is used for writing down information about people, like remembering birthdays of our friends and family members, or keeping track of what our team members are supposed to be doing at a particular time. If we click this icon, we get the choice to add one image from our gallery. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go to the three dots menu again and click the layout option again, and there's the last layout, which is the task layout. The task layout is different from the other three layouts in that instead of an icon, the task layout has a check mark box. This is of course used for projects, and these are the four layouts that an object can have in the Anytype app. Now that I have clicked done, I am back in the object edit menu. The next option is this relations button. So I had mentioned that everything in Anytype is called an object, and all the objects have types, and these objects are related to each other through relations. This is that relations button that connects objects together. This is also used as properties inside Anytype. So as you can see, there are some relations with this log sign beside them. These relations are actually default relations that Anytype uses to function, so they cannot be modified. But other than these, all other relations are completely customizable. We can click this edit button. I have removed the star mark from all the relations. Now I'm just going to add a star mark to this tag relation. And let's say this creation date relation. And we can see that the star mark relation shows up right up below the title of our object. We can also add a new relation from here by this plus button. This gives us a list of all the relations in our Anytype. We can choose one from here or just create a new one from scratch. So relations can be tags and statuses and email address URLs, but relations can also be other objects. Now the last option from the three dots menu in the upper right hand corner is the diagnostics. Clicking this will debug our Anytype, and we get the option to send our debug information to the Anytype team. This works in the same way as the debug option in our space settings. Okay, I'm going to change the layout back to basic just to make it easier for me to work with. So if we go back to the three dots menu again, we can see this horizontal list. The first button on this horizontal list is this favorite button, which has a star on it. If we click this star, it adds our object to the favorites widget. What is the favorites widget and where is the favorites widget if you ask me? Then for that you have to go back to the landing page. Do you remember I had said that when I got in this app, then here was another favorites widget which I have replaced with the collections widget. This is where the favorites widget was. I'm just going to add it back here for clarity. Going to the edit widgets button, then add button, choose favorites at the source, and I'm going to choose the appearance as compact list. And as you can see, we have added our favorites widget back into our landing page, and here is our hello object that we are working with currently. I'm going to click done to get out of the edit widget page. I'm going to click hello, and here we are back into our object. We can use this favorites widget to gradually collect all the objects that we use frequently into the landing page. But in the landing page, I have already collected all the frequently used objects and sets in this dashboard widget. So I do not use the favorites widget anymore. I'm just going to delete this favorites widget from here. Click done and we're done. Now we're going back to our hello object. The next button on this horizontal menu is to delete, which sends our object to the bin. Now next is a duplicate button which duplicates our object, and then there's the undo redo button. This button is a little strange. For that I'm going to add a few lines here. Now if we use the redo undo button, it doesn't always deselect one word at a time. I don't know what is happening with this menu. Okay, I'm going to click on an empty page in the object to get out of this option, or you can also click next to a block. I'm going to click the three dots menu again, and next option is link to. This to option turns the current object into a child of the linked object. So I'm going to click link to and choose English as the linking object. Now if we see the page, there is no indication that this object is linked to the English object. But if we go back to our landing page and search for the English object, we can see that the hello object has been added as a child to the English object. It is basically an embedded link. Now bi-directional links do not show up inside objects of Anytype yet. You can see them in the flowchart in the desktop app. I'm going to click this back button to go back to our landing page, and we're just going to search the hello object, and here we are. This search button searches the text within our object. We can search for the hello word, and we can see that the title of our object hello has been highlighted with the color blue. If there are many instances of this word, let's click done to get out of this. I'm going to go back to the three dots menu, click search, and now if we search, we can see that both of the demo words have been highlighted with blue color. If we click up and down, now we can see that only the second demo word is highlighted with the blue color. The first one is now in yellow. We're going to click done to get out, and then we're going to go back. Now that is different with this search button here that we get in our object page. This search button searches titles of all the objects in our Anytype, so we can visit another object from this object. Now the last of all button is the log button. This log button prevents any accidental modification of our object. Okay, last for the object edit menu are these four buttons at the bottom. This four dots button will bring us to our landing page directly, and this button brings us back in our work history one step at a time. This search button, I have mentioned before, this searches all the title of the objects in our Anytype, and this plus button creates a new object just from inside another object. I'm going to delete this new object. That is pretty much all for the object editing menu. Next, we are going to get into the different text and block editing and styling options within Anytype. Now, in regards to the text edit menu of Anytype, today I'm going to discuss the processes that might seem new when operating the Anytype app. I'll make a more detailed video about the text editing features of Anytype soon. So the first thing about the text editing options in Anytype that I want to mention is that we remember that in Anytype, among the 4 types of layouts, only the node type does not have any title. Now if you click on the title of the object, we get this title edit menu. If you click this A button, we can change the color of our title, and we can use this button to give our title a colorful background. And we can use this button to remove the background. I'm going to go back to this menu and change the color of the title of my object back to white. Going to click on the object to get out of the styling menu and click done to get out of that text edit menu. Now, the second important thing to know is that all the functions of Anytype can be accessed from the slash button or slash command. How to access the / command? The answer is that we click in any empty place or any block in Anytype, and this menu comes up, and here is the / button. Now, the first option in the slash command is style. Go to the style option. Now, the styling options in the app are quite similar to most other apps. We have 3 levels of headings. First is the title, heading, slash button, style option, and subheading. And there are also the bulleted list, and we can keep making the lists if we keep pressing enter. Enter. Now pressing enter twice brings us out of the bullet list, and next is the numbered list. Go to the style option and scroll down until you find the number list. So click enter like the bullet menu. We can keep adding lines to our numbered list. Clicking enter twice will get us out of the number list, but we can also get out of the number list by clicking on any empty space in the object. After the number list, there is the toggle list. One piece of necessary information about the toggle list is that the toggle list comes with a toggle block. We have to click on the toggle that we have just created and click that toggle block to start writing. We can also add lists inside this toggle. For this, we're going to go to the slash menu. And instead of going to the style option, we can just type in bullet, B-U-L-L. Here comes the bullet list. Here's the bullet toggle 1. And like the other list, if we keep pressing enter, we'll get another bullet toggle. And we can also add a number list here like this. Now we're going to click the toggle button, and all the contents within the toggle has disappeared. Now we're going to click on an empty space to get out of the toggle list function. Now the next 2 options are, in my opinion, named a little differently. We can go to the slash button and we can find this highlight button, but this highlight button does not add a background color to a block. This is used more like a quote. We're going to click on an empty space to get out of the highlight or quote option. And the next option is the callout option. With the callout option, we can add an emoji in front of the block. We can use this if, like me, you're in the habit of adding emojis to special spaces, like the school emoji for school-related information. Now we're going to click on an empty space to get out of the callout function. Now another thing is that there is a specific way to make indented lists. To demonstrate this, I'm just going to make a few lists here. Slash menu, style, find the bullet option. As you can see, if we click and hold a block, this menu comes up. We're going to click copy, and then we're going to click done and put the cursor at the end of this block. And click again to bring up the keyboard. Click enter and paste. Now that I have made 4 list blocks, I'm going to click done. Now I'm going to click and hold the 3 option. It gets a gray border around it. Now I'm going to pick it up, and as I can see, it gets this yellow line. Again, this yellow line. This yellow line shows where this block will be placed if I let go. But in order to indent this block, I'm just going to put it on top of this list block. And this block has been indented to the indenting of bullet 2. The next thing about Anytype is this. If we go to the style menu and scroll down, we see these bold, italic, and strike through options. To demonstrate this, let's make a block. So if we go to the slash menu and to the style menu and click the bold button, nothing happens. That is because we can't actually access this function like this. To access this function, we have to click and hold one of the words, and this menu shows up. Now we can again click and hold the word. Click the italic to italic. Now again, click and hold the word for underline and click and hold in word for strike through. Now, what if we want to apply this styling to the whole block? In that case, let's just make another block. Now that we have this another block, to style this entire block at once, we're going to go to this AA menu. And now we can give the entire block any styling we want. Including changing color and background. I want to click on Anytype to go out of this option. Now, while we're on this topic, I just want to say that we can link an object to a particular word in our Anytype. So I have made a block here to demonstrate the word linking process. So I'm going to bring the cursor to this word, and click and hold until it's highlighted. And I'm going to go to this link button, click it. It will bring up a list of all the objects in our Anytype. I'm just going to click this. I'm going to click this English object. And now I'm going to click away from this block, then click the word. And as you can see, this word has been linked to this English object. I'm going to click this back button to go back to our hello object. Now, if we make another block and go to this A option and go to the three dots menu, we come up with this link option. We can choose this to link this entire block to our English object. If we click this, see, we have linked the entire block to this English object. I'm going to click the back button again to go back to our hello object. Now, the next thing I want to mention is that there is an option to style multiple blocks at once. For this, I'm going to make few blocks. Now here are 4 blocks. Now to style them or format all 4 of them at once, we're going to click this 3 dots menu. This 3 dots menu allows us to select multiple blocks. And to style them, we can click this Style AA button, which is a styling button, and style all of them in a particular way all together. Now I'm going to go to this 3 dots menu, change the alignment, make them bold or italic, and then I'm going to click done to go out of this multi-select menu. There are 2 more things that I want to highlight. One is that in this 3 dots menu, there is this option called Move. I'm going to click Cancel. I'm going to make a new block to demonstrate Move option. Now, we know that we can move a block by clicking and holding it until it gets this gray border, and then just dragging it up and down. But maybe I want to move this object all the way up. So instead of just clicking and holding this block and moving it all the way up, Anytype team has provided an easier way to do this. First, we click on this block to bring the cursor on this block. Then you go to this 3 dots menu and go to this Move option. We can see these small arrows have appeared. Now we are just going to scroll our screen until we find the place where we want to put this block. Now the yellow line is here. That means if we click Move now, our block will move to this location. So I'm clicking Move, and our block to demonstrate Move option has moved below this title. We can also click this 3 dots menu to access the Delete option, paste, copy, duplicate, and add a space below option, and also a Move to option. This Move to option moves a block to another object. So click Done to get out of this menu. Make a block to demonstrate the Move option. So I'm going to go to the Move to option. This brings up a list of all the objects in our Anytype. I'm going to click this English type. And as you can see, our block has disappeared. If you go to this search button and look for where is the English object, we're going to click it. And as you can see, the block to demonstrate Move to option is now here. I'm going to click this back button and click this hello button. So in summary, 2 things have to be remembered. The first thing is that the slash menu will give us access to all the functionality inside Anytype. And the second one is that if we want to delete a block or empty space, then we can do it from this 3 dots menu and this delete option. Click Done, or you can put the cursor here, access the slash button, and type delete and use this delete option. Now if you go to the slash button and find this object option, This gives the option to link to another object and also gives us a list of all the types inside our Anytype, so we can just make a new object from here. Let's just go to link to object, and here we go. Let's just pick, and here it is. Now if we click this, we can see that it brings us to the object. Let's go back. Now the next thing is, like we can add objects, we can also embed relations within our Anytype with this button. Now next option is the media option. This is how we add PDFs and pictures and videos and bookmarks. Clicking one of these brings up this field. We click the field, and since I have chosen an image, it will bring me to my image library, and from here we can choose an image to be uploaded within our Anytype. Now another thing about this three dots menu is that it can select and style links. Now a little before we had linked this set demo object to this hello object of ours. Now if we choose this AA option and try to select this link, it doesn't do anything. It opens the object. Let's go back. If we want to select this object, then first we have to tap on one of the blocks or empty spaces to bring up the cursor. Then click this three dots menu and then click this linked object. I'm just going to click here to unselect this list. Now we can style this linked object. To style it, we go to this preview button, and I'm going to choose card because this is my favorite type of preview in Anytype. I wish there was an option to make this card layout option the default option. I'm going to choose the medium size icon, though I have not assigned any, and I'm also going to add the object type to be visible. Now I'm just going to click done to see what it looks like. Here we go. Now since we're talking about links, then I think this is a good time to talk about this add button. This button gives us the capability of adding an inline link. Now let's bring the cursor here, click the add button and choose this. And as you can see, this object called English has become an inline link. If you click it, it takes us to the English object. This is most of the text edit options that I wanted to talk about. Now if we go back to our landing page, and from here, you can go to the library, choose a type. Unlike the desktop app, we can just make a set of objects with the same type from here. We have to make sets and collection within the desktop. I especially use the mobile and Android apps to just quickly capture some of the thoughts when I am on the go. So making sets and collections in the desktop app does not hamper my use of Anytype in any way. And the Anytype team is working on adding the functionalities of the desktop app to the mobile and Android apps as well. This is similar for the Mac and iOS apps. Though we cannot create sets and collections, but we can view them. As you can see, if we have made a collection, we can use this new button to add new objects to the collections without any problem. And this drop down menu of course brings us an option of templates that we can use to make our new objects within this collection. It has also this sort option which gives us the ways we can view our collection. Now going back to our landing page, and this is all the current capabilities of Anytype at the moment. As I was making this video, the Anytype app just went through another update, and I plan to make a video about the new updates soon. Hope this helps to quickly familiarize with the Android app of Anytype so that we can capture any thoughts and ideas we have in any type of a day, regardless of whether we are close to our laptop or not. Have a good day. See you soon.